Welcome to Hoyt's Bowhunting Whitetails. It's been a little over 2 weeks ago that I put the two cameras on that apple tree. And I've been checking those just about every day. Jordan and I traveled for a while. We were out in California. We met up with my son Drew and we went to a couple national parks. Spent some time out there, had a really nice time. But anyway, during that whole time that we were gone, nobody's been at the farm. And this apple tree is out in the open. It's pretty close to the buildings. So it's not a spot that the deer would frequent very often. But I thought it would be a really interesting experiment to put a black flash on one side and a white flash on the other side of this apple tree, and just not only see how many deer come into this one single isolated tree, really out in the middle of open area, but also to see if there's any difference between the two cameras and how they performed. Hoyt's Bowhunting Whitetails is brought to you by Redneck Blinds, Code of Silence Apparel, Hunt Stand Pro Whitetail App, Whitetail Institute, Research Equals Results, B3 Archery, Muddy Outdoors Tree Stands, Stealth Cam Trail Cameras, My Outdoor TV, and Hoyt. First, let's start with the deer. I was really impressed and a little bit surprised by the number of deer that are coming to that tree. Again, like I said, nobody's been around the farm, and even though this apple tree is out in the open, it's not being bothered by anybody going in and out of there. So the deer do probably feel pretty comfortable there. But I'd say it's 150 yards away from any available cover, and yet there's a lot of daylight activity there. There's several bucks coming into it. There's a few does that are hitting it pretty consistently and some fawns, and it's all day long, different times of the day, first thing in the morning, midday, at night. It's really interesting to me to see how aggressively they're going to these apples. So I know one thing for sure. When opening day comes, I'm going to be in that blind that we set up back in July that's right in the middle of that super thick apple orchard, apple grove. There was a number of trees right there that were loaded up with apples that I'm sure are starting to drop. Gosh, those deer have got to be piling in there. I'm excited about that. That's going to be a fun spot to hunt. I'm looking forward to it. I don't even care what comes out. It's just going to be really fun to sit there and just see how many deer pile into those apples every evening. So that's on the list, but looking back at the two cameras, they didn't perform any differently from the standpoint of, which one's got, better photos or whatever. I mean, one's black flash, one's white flash. White flash pictures are better, we know that, but the deer didn't react to the cameras in any way. So that was a non-issue. The one thing I did find interesting though was one camera was pointed just slightly different angle from the other camera. And there were deer that came in that only showed up on one camera. So you assume that you've got a camera in a spot, you're getting a picture of everything that comes in there. Well, there was two cameras on this one tree, and one was angled only slightly differently than the other one from the opposite side of the tree. And it didn't get all the same deer that the other camera got. So I won't say the trail cameras can be unreliable, because I'm sure the cameras performed. It's just that we put too much sometimes value in what we don't get photos of. It's obviously if you get a picture of a deer, he's there, but you don't know he's not there if you don't get pictures of him, because he might be just off to the side of where the camera's taking the pictures. So I thought that was interesting. I'm going to get back up there here in a couple of days. So I'll probably pull those cameras and move them someplace else. Maybe I'll put them by that blind in that heavy orchard just for fun and see what's coming in there. But like I said, from what I've seen here, there's no question in my mind that when opening day comes, I'm going to be sitting on apples. Also, let's see, what else do we do? I've been producing more of these patterning trophy whitetails episodes for My Outdoor TV. So check those out. That's exclusive to their channel, but there's a link in the description that you can get a free trial and check that series out. We did travel, like I said, produced a couple of episodes there. So that's been you know, a lot of fun for us. But now it's time to get down to the serious business of trying to find back some of these bucks that we hunted last year, and hopefully we can find a few new ones too. Got one more thing I want to touch on before I wrap up here. I'm wearing a new garment from Code of Silence called the Matrix Grid something hoodie. I forgot the name of it, but I'll put a link in the description and you can check it out there. But this has become my favorite piece of outerwear for this time of the year. It's ideal for these temperatures that we're seeing right now. Highs in the 60s, lows in the 40s and 50s. It's pretty awesome. Looks good, fits really well, super comfortable. So I thought I'd pass that along in case you're looking for a new mid-layer piece going into the fall. Well, I appreciate you joining me, and I'll see you right back here again soon for the next episode of Hoyt's Bowhunting Whitetails. And remember to always dream big.